Hear me very well?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear and see me?
I can see and hear you, Mike.
Oh, good. Well, I'm happy to be with you this evening, all of you. Some of you I may not know, and you would know me. Just to introduce myself, let me start sharing my screen. Okay, can you see my screen there?
Yes, we can
Okay,
see.
well, that's me, Mike Vandeventor. We joined Neolife as far back as 1983, which means it's now 39 and a half years that we've been in Neolife. Why we joined was very simple. I was about 36 at that stage, and I'd reached a level, income level. I was in church ministry where I'd reached the top, and it wasn't enough because by that time we'd had our fourth child. None of our children were at school yet, and yet my salary wasn't enough. So I don't know what would have happened if it had stayed that way, because those of you with children will know once they go to school and from school to university, they actually become very expensive. So I was praying and hoping for something to happen. I didn't know what. I didn't know what to expect. And then one day, out of the blue, somebody that I'd last seen about 13 years ago at university phoned me and said he wanted to come and see me. He lived 200 kilometers from where we were. So I was a bit surprised. But to cut the story short, he showed me the Neolife opportunity. At that stage, I understood nothing of what he'd shown me because he was so new himself that his explanation didn't make any sense to me. Also, because I had no idea that there was such a thing as Neolife and network marketing. Anyway, we had another look. We got started, not because I expected much from the business. Really, I didn't. I just thought if my wife could sell us some Super 10 and LDC and G1, which were the sort of the more prominent products at that stage, and maybe make us an extra 60,000 shillings a month, that would have helped. So that's where we started. But as I started seeing the bigger picture, my perception of the business changed, how I looked at the business. Now, you know, different people start in Neolife. Some start just for the products as customers. Some start as distributors because they see an opportunity to make more money and improve their lives. And that is what happened for us. We wanted to just better our financial situation. But then as I started seeing more, and I started seeing people achieving big things in this business, I started hoping for a bit more. I wouldn't even say at that stage we were dreaming about a bit more, because I was still not sure that we'd be able to do that. Anyway, as I started seeing more, the dream started coming alive, the dream of, you know, really achieving the one thing that I always wanted, and that was to be financially independent, so that I could work in the church whether they paid me or not. And that, for me, that dream represented what, let's call the top, getting to the top, getting to where I ideally would want to be in my life. Now, for different people, that would be something different. I don't know what the top is for you. Perhaps it's financial independence, traveling the world, educating your children, a new property, whatever. But a common mistake people make, because our business is so simple, which means it's not complicated. It doesn't mean it's stupid. It means it's not complicated. People think it's easy. And when they find out it's not really easy, they do what most people would do. They just quit. And when they do that, they give up on well, something that could have changed their lives. What we have to all realize is we can't begin at the top. You know, when I was not even in school yet, I had to call it a calling to go into ministry. So I realized vaguely that I'd have to go to university to do that. But in our schooling system, I had to go through 12 years, 12 steps before I could get to university. And then getting to university, there was another 7 years, another 7 steps before I finally reached what was for me at that stage the top. I qualified to go into the ministry. What people need to realize is that to get to the top takes one step at a time, and depending on how high how far the top is, it could be many steps. And that requires time and effort. You understand that climbing is more difficult, takes more energy than just walking on a level road. So a common mistake people make is they expect too much too soon. They start new life, they're right here at the beginning, and they expect to be making good money. They expect to have a big, solid business. But the real rewards come later on. So people expect too much too soon, but not enough in the long term. So what happens when people in the short term, right at the beginning, don't see the success they were hoping for? Most people would do what most people do, and that is quit. Now, when you quit, you cut off all possible future potential. Like my upline, they quit. And, you know, I've calculated that if they'd even just managed to qualify as directors for, say, the last 33, 34 years, with us as being directors, they would have at least be Sapphire directors. I calculated that they've lost out on at least 900 million shillings over the years because they quit too soon. So that's the first thing that I want to stress this evening. And the second thing is, of course, that success is always uphill. You don't become successful because it's easy. There's a saying, no pain, no gain. And that's life. In sport, if you want to achieve at the very top, it takes much more effort than for somebody who just plays sport for the enjoyment of it. Now, if this is the case, what people should understand, it's not going to be any different in neo life. In neo life, success is always uphill as well. So, what do we need for success in neo life? And okay, there's my slide. It wouldn't move. I'm going to mention a number of things. The first is you must develop, if you haven't got it already, a definite purpose, a strong desire, something that you're very, what is the word? Very, very passionate about achieving. For me, it was being my own boss. So I want to remind you that it's very important that you, if you haven't defined that for yourself, say to yourself, what would be the top for me? And if you are really serious about that, that is what will drive you. Without that, it's like a car without any fuel in the tank. The second point is we need some understanding. You know, network marketing, which is the way we do business in neo life, is different from normal business. It's different from what most people equate with business. And therefore, it's important to really get to understand the business. Otherwise, it's like this. We have in South Africa the saying that you put the cart before the horse. Now, you'll see from that picture, even the horse is surprised to see what is happening. because that guy isn't going anywhere. He needs to turn the horse around and understand that if he wants to go somewhere, he's got to do things differently. And it's the same with us in network marketing. There are things that we need to sometimes understand that we need to stop doing, new things we should start doing, and some things we should do differently. Because if we don't, and we start sponsoring people, we're now leaders, and then we're like the blind leading the blind. We don't fully understand, so we teach the people we bring into the business not to fully understand either. And in that way, you can't really have success. People have got to understand certain things, and I'm not going to elaborate on that now. The third point is a full commitment. Now, when we started in the business, it was part-time, but I made a full commitment to the time that I did devote to the business. Let's say it's 5 hours a week, 10 hours or 15 hours. However many you put aside, those hours should be, I almost want to say, sacred. It's your business hours. When the family come visiting and you've got a business arrangement or commitment, say to them, well, visit with a family, I'm working. People won't understand that because the fact that we work from home doesn't look serious to outsiders. But without full commitment, it will take a long time to get anywhere. The fourth point is we've got to be persistent. It means keeping on, keeping on. Because not everybody we approach with the products or for the business is going to start. That's just a fact of life. We often talk about the 80-20 rule, which says only 20% of people will, which then means to find 20 good people, you probably have to go through 100. And that is one of the difficulties for people who don't understand the business. They think while they're battling through the 80 to get to the 20, that the business isn't working and it's never going to work. Because what also is the case is sometimes you don't get the right people immediately. Many of the best people in my business, I got a long time after we started. But you've got to keep on, keeping on, keep on, keeping on. The next point is to be consistent. You know, some people think this week I'll work 30 hours and I will, this 30 hours is going to make me really grow. It could make a big difference, but then if the next 2, 3, 4 weeks you do nothing, what you've done in the 30 hours is probably going to fall apart. Because as you bring people into the business, either customer or distributor, you need to follow up with them. You need to be there for them. It's no good you sponsor somebody into the business and then for the next month they never see you. Because at the end of that month, you won't ever see them again probably either. So consistency is very important. And then stick to the basics. Don't try and complicate the business. The basics is for you to use and share the products and to grow personally. Now, I'm not going to go into any great details about that, but it's a very simple business, so stick to the basics. And then finally, I'm sure there's more that could be said for success in network marketing, is you have to have a very clear and definite goal and be goal-driven. And understand that you've got to be aiming at your next step all the time. Now, that is such an important point that, you know, unless you keep stepping, you're not going to get to the top, wherever your top is. Now, what people sometimes do is they want to get to the top the easy way. And the easy way is they want to sponsor 1 or 2 or 3 people and then think that those people are going to move them to the top. I already told you that we need more people. I want to show you a picture that points in this direction. You see, you want a big structure. Now, that structure isn't just going to come from the people you sponsor your with, in this case, 4. It also depends on the people they sponsor, who sponsor people, who sponsor people. And that can go into so many levels that you lose count. Now, the bigger the structure you have, the more easily you will qualify in on your level. I always say that for a qualified director, you need at least 30 to 40 committed people. Any fewer than that, and you're going to battle. Now, you might qualify as a director, and now you say, I'm going for Sapphire Director. But the next 2-3 months, you're battling to qualify even in your status as a director. Why? Because you haven't got enough people yet. So that is certainly something that we need to work on. Now, I'm not going to explain this process to you. Your uplines, Clement, Justice, the other directors, they can teach you how we do this. I'm just talking about the principle, the idea. Now, what happens when you start having a big structure like this is what I experienced during COVID. The surprising thing, or maybe it wasn't really surprising, but and in the COVID period, in my own team, there were at least about 5 or 6 directors in America, a Sapphire director in Australia, people in Finland, Paris, all over. And the fact is, I had nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with it. It all came out of the depths. So for you to grow a big business, and that is, again, where the idea of don't expect too much too soon. If you want to have a big business just with those people, it's not going to happen. You need something like this for a big, solid business. Now, I know your response might be, who, me? How can I do it? Now, I know that's exactly how I felt. The very first time we went to a company event, a recognition rally on a Saturday afternoon, we had to travel 120 kilometers to get there. I looked at the people with the bigger pins and the smart cars and talking about traveling, and I really said, I don't think it could be for me. But you know, very important, and you must listen to this, what is needed is a new attitude. And that attitude is simply to say, if others can, why not me? This business is simple. If other people can do it, why not you and me? There are a lot of people that I know of that I think I'm smarter than them, yet they're higher in the business than I am. It's not how smart you are. It's just the fact that if you do the basics and you persist and commit and you're consistent, it can happen for you as well. Now, what counts in your favor very much is that you may say, well, I don't know, I don't have the skills. But, you know, I want to say to you, everything that is easy in your life today was once very hard. Like this baby. It was hard to even get to the stage of crawling. But then it's still hard to get to walk. And then once the baby starts walking, and you who are parents or grandparents would know that, it is still quite a while before that child is really steady on its legs. So everything that is easy in your life, like walking, like driving a car, like whatever you do, was once very hard. But because you learned, it is now easy. Think of those of you who have a car and can drive. That wasn't easy when you started, but because you learned, it is now very easy. And also what counts in your favor in our kind of business, and especially in the teams that are on this call tonight with your leaders, whom I really admire, and I'm so happy for you that you've got them as leaders. Clement, Justice, all the other people, I'm not going to mention all the names, is that you must realize that you're in business for yourself. It's your business, but you're not by yourself. There are people who will support you and want to support you because we understand that our success is built on your success. And you must understand that your success is going to be built on the success of other people. And therefore, it is illogical, it is stupid if you try and hold people back or not help them achieve their potential, even if they do better than you. So what? You know, every parent, I'm talking about a natural parent, wants their children to do better than they did. And it should be no different in a business. So understand it that even if you may feel insecure and you think, how can I ever have a big, solid business? Do what I've said and remember, you will be supported. The fact is that I mentioned that our success is built on your success. And that means you've got to understand what Zig Ziglar puts so well. He says, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. Folks, this is such a key understanding if you want to succeed in network marketing, because it's a people business. If we can build people, that is what builds our business. So focus on what other people want and help them get that, and they will automatically push you up. And it's very simple. Just always remember that people will follow people or do business with people they like and trust. The moment you find somebody that doesn't like you, it's unlikely that they will stay with you or even come with you. And if people find they can't trust you, they will also move away from you. Now, if you're fortunate, they might carry on in the business in spite of you. But most likely, if people find they can't trust their upline, they will quit. So they lose and you lose. So what we've got to realize is that for us to become the kind of person that attracts people, that people want to be with, and that people will trust and follow, we don't have to only learn new skills, how to deal with people, how to present, how to follow up, how to support people. Those are all skills that we can learn. It's not something that is there for some people or not there for other people. We can learn all of those. But you will see in Neolife the emphasis also on personal development. That means for us as a person to get more likable, more trustworthy, more the kind of person that people will want to follow. And the reason for that is that people who know about this says that success depends only for 20% on skills. You know, how to talk to people, how to dress, how to present. 80% depends on character, who you are, how you treat people, whether people can trust you, whether people can look up to you. In fact, Stephen Covey says that 90% of failure in life is character failure, not competency failure. It's not because people lack skills. I've seen people in our business who are very skilled at presenting and all of those things. But because of character flaws, they eventually lost everything, and a lot of other people in the process lost out as well. You see, sometimes very charismatic people, they automatically draw people. But then the people who come with them might find that this person is not totally honest. They're using me. They're not interested in my growth and my development. And 80% of people leaving the business is because of character failure somewhere upline, in our case as well. So that is something we have to work on. And I just want to give you a few pointers about that. This is just a brief overview this evening. The first is we've got to learn to respect and value people. Now, in our country where we had racial segregation, for many people today, it's still difficult to respect people of a different race or people with different outlook on life than we have. If we want to really be successful with people, we've got to learn to respect and value people. For me, Jesus is such an example. He reached out to all the people that the leaders of those days wouldn't touch with a pole. They would go out of their way to stay out of the way of certain people because they saw those people as too low, too unworthy to deal with. Let us understand that every human being was put on this earth by God. Where that person finds themselves might be in a position that we wouldn't want to really respect and value them. But Jesus valued everybody, even people who were his enemies. And that means that we need to care for people. You know, it's one thing to say, I respect people, but it's another thing to actually positively go out and show care by what you do and how you do it. And that is why the company insists on remembering that people should be number one. When we become selfish and self-centered in this business, and we see people only for what they can do for us, we are on a slippery slope. I promise you that if your focus, and you know, I must tell you that when we started, I didn't realize this, I didn't think of this. We needed to make money, it was all about us. But I had to learn that it is about people, because it's people who will push us up. And therefore, we've got to always act with honesty and integrity. Don't say one thing, that's what integrity means, and do another. Don't cheat people or steal from them and think that will build a relationship. We all understand that, but not everybody practices that. And then to think long-term, as I showed you in the beginning, the big rewards are not in the beginning, but towards the top. If I think of last month when we were privileged to attend the Diamond Lifestyle event in Barcelona, what an amazing experience that was. We stayed in probably one of the best hotels in Barcelona, right in the heart of where things were happening. The meals were just, I wouldn't normally spend money on going to such places as the company takes us. And all the sightseeing, everything was done for us, and we didn't have to pay a cent for that. But that didn't happen when we were just managers or senior managers or even directors. You've got to move up. And thinking long-term also means that you don't do anything stupid now for short-term benefit, like cheating a downline out of points or a bonus, because it's going to help you now. Because in the long term, that may mean that you're going to lose that person. So also always think long-term, and then always think win-win. Win-win makes so much sense. You know, in life, we find a lot of win-lose. You find people with the Ponzi schemes. What is the other word there for that? Who promise people a lot and then eventually cause them to lose everything. Or you think of people who sell drugs. I'm talking about the dangerous drugs. They make money, but it's because of making other people lose. And that's not the way to have a fulfilling life. You'll always only be truly fulfilled when you have people like I'm privileged to have that love and care about you because you loved and care about them in the first place. Let me remind you, excuse me, practically how it works in the business. If you're a manager and you help 3 other people become manager, you accumulate 1,000 points and you're a senior manager. If you're a senior manager and you help 3 other people become senior managers, you get qualified director volume and you become a director. So you see, that's what I say about win-win. You help other people to get to where you are, and that will move you up. Always remember that, win-win. And the golden rule really puts it so well. Do unto others as you will have them do unto you. Help people. Go out of your way to put effort into other people's lives. Now, we can't make people successful. We can only help them be successful. Just so, don't expect your upline to make you successful. You've got to do the work, but if somebody is not there to guide and support you, it is just so much more difficult. So always remember that to give is more blessed than to receive. Because by giving, by helping, by reaching out, by touching other people's lives, we will eventually find our own lives enriched. So getting to the end, you may look at this and say, yeah, well, okay, you know, you show us getting lots of people. Where are all the people going to come from? I want to tell you there's an unlimited potential. If we just look at Uganda with about 43 million people, if we can find only 1%, 1 in 100, you either become a customer or a distributor, we're looking at more than 400,000 people. Now, those of you in the business and have looked around, you will know that in East Africa, I don't think there's even that many people. In the business, I mean. Now, look at that. If that 430,000 people only do 20 points a month personally, that would give us 8.6 million points just out of 1 in 100 people in Uganda. And next year, there's a whole new batch of young people coming onto the job market, starting to earn or hoping to earn. At the end of 2023, there will be another new batch. We can never saturate the market because on top of that, there's also the world. You know, now Neolife operates in more than 52 countries officially, but we do business like DRC, where Neolife is not even yet. So I'm saying to you, there's an unlimited potential. You just need to understand this. This is part of the understanding that we can never saturate the market. We will never run out of people. And with that, to understand that you are now part of a team where you will be supported and where you will be helped through helping other people to reach the top, whatever the top is for you. And that is what excites me at this stage in my life. I just turned 75 last month, at an age where people are either dead or do nothing because they're retired. I still look towards the future and know whatever potential there is now is going to grow exponentially as we grow into the future. And it excites me because there's still a lot of things I want to do. There are more people I want to reach and help. There are more places I want to travel to. So just hold on to this. There's more people than we can reach. And then always remember that when everything is said and done, winners never quit, even when it gets tough. Even when you try to sponsor and you're not succeeding, or you're sponsoring people and you just can't get them to move. The worst thing is to quit, because quitters never win. Like I mentioned the example of my upline, who's lost a fortune because they quit too soon. So it's not about how well you begin. You know, we all in the beginning are like children going to school for the first time. It's how well we finish, how well we do with our final year at school, because that will have an influence on whether we get to university, if that's our goal, and how well we might do at university. How well we do at university, if that's the career path we go, will determine how well we will do well in the job market. Not that I suggest that that be your goal, but the same applies in the business. So don't worry about where you are. Focus on where you want to be. Focus on what you see as the top, or what you hope can be the top, or what you dream as the top. And don't worry about where you are at the moment. And so, oh, I'm so far, I don't see it ever happening for me. You know, God put more potential in all of us than we either realize or could possibly achieve. We don't know where the end of our potential is. But because people believe they can't, they don't have potential, they don't even try. Or if they try and they have some difficulties, they say, oh, it wasn't meant for me. I'm supposed to be broken, a loser. It doesn't matter where you start from in this business. I've, in my almost 40 years in this business, see people come from backgrounds that I might not even have thought of approaching them, yet they become successful. You know, in South Africa, there's a couple in the president's team, good friends of mine. They come from a very poor background. Between the two of them, they only have 5 years of schooling. Between the two of them, not each. And yet they're on the president's team. I have university degrees and I'm on the president's team. But I'm not there because of my university degrees. They're not there because they lack education. They're there because of the things I mentioned, that drive to want to achieve, to get to the top, keeping on, and realizing that for success in this business, our success lies in building people, in caring for people, because it's people that will move us up. And therefore, we must never do anything that will harm anybody in our business. Instead, we must go out of our way to help people and to support them. Because it's not how well they begin, it's how well they end. It doesn't help us much to get a lot of people who begin and never get to the end. So, you know, with these thoughts, I just wanted to share with you that New Life and network marketing it's a different kind of business. It's a business with a heart. It's not a business where, you know, every man for himself and where profit is the main focus. And that is why you find the company would, for instance, not have a product on the market if they can't guarantee that product is 100% how it should be. Other companies might say, oh, well, what does it matter? People wouldn't know. We sell the product in any case. That is a lack of integrity. And that's not how New Life operates. So if you want to take, or let me put it this way, I'd like you to take away one thing this evening. Well, more than one thing. Firstly, you can reach the top. You can go over the top, provided you understand the heart of the business, and that you understand that it's not easy, that you've got to work, that you've got to overcome difficulties and disappointments, which you will have, because it's just like life out there. But as you do that, slowly but surely, there will be call it a groundswell that will start lifting you up. And your life gets better based on other people's lives getting better. And that is so fulfilling. That is why I could get to a point where I decided to leave the church ministry and go full-time into Neolife, because I realized that in the ministry, we were focusing just on the spiritual side of people's lives. But people have needs more than just the spiritual. And in Neolife, we can touch on that. We can touch on their health, their wealth, their social skills, everything, which really makes Neolife something worth giving your life to. And I hope that is what you do, even if now at the beginning it is still on a part-time basis. Because Neolife will bring new life to you, your family, and those generations still to come. But then you and I have to give our life to Neolife first. That doesn't mean that we sacrifice our church or other important things, our families. No, it just means that we focus on Neolife, knowing that this is the way towards the top for us. And I'm so grateful that we weren't overlooked, that we got to see this opportunity, and more so that I won't even say it, the courage, because we started just because we didn't see any way of losing. But I'm just so grateful that we did start. And I'm so grateful for all the people who've come into our family, including all of you people. Being your Jaja is one of the most fulfilling things in my life. So with that, Clement, Justice, the rest of the leaders, all of you, it was wonderful spending this part of the Sunday evening with you. I really hope it helps some of you and encourages you, because I want you at the top. Good night and God bless.